Hey, what's up, YouTube? Smart Alec here. I am working on what I call the Immortal Minion build, and I'm trying to figure out how to get physical life leech on minions to work correctly. So I thought I'd go over the quick little build, throw this out there at level 40, and see if the community has any ideas on how to make this function better. But just a glimpse into the build, where it's going, where I plan to take it, where it's at today. And I will put a link in the description to my build planner for where I'm at right now. See if any of you can pick apart how to make this a little bit better. But right now I'm just at level 39, 40 Necro. And my idea was Immortal Minions. I want to have a little army of skeletons, skeletal mages, which I've actually transformed into Dark Knights, which I'll show you. I can have 4 or 3 of those. I can have 6 skeletons. And then, of course, along the way, I can have wraiths, and I'm also set up to, if I drop under 50% health, I also create a Dark Revenant. So here's where I'm at. What I'm trying to do is synergize Blood Rip and Blood Splatter with Life Leech on minions to create kind of an immortal army. And it also empowers them. So anytime they get hit by a Blood Splatter, they're supposed to be empowered, which is called Blood Infusion, which gives them increased attack speed and or cast speed. Right now I'm just using physical damage minions. And then they also get Hemophagy, or however you say that, which when they have Blood Infusion, which is caused by being hit by a Blood Splatter, and I have a 100% Blood Splatter chance with Blood Rip, then they're supposed to get 15% of physical damage done returned as health. Now, on top of that, I have another 5% health leech just based on the skeletal build called Marrow Tap. So 5% of damage done by skeletons, it leeches, but it doesn't seem to be working. And then also on the skeletal mages, I have Leech Life, which says that 2.5% of the damage they do, skeletal mages leech a portion of damage, and they have 75% extra health. Now, what I think might be broken with this, unfortunately, although it wouldn't make sense to have it as part of this tree line, is that I'm then converting skeletal mages as Death Knights. So it adds Death Knights to the summon pool of skeletal mages, which uses a melee necrotic attack and removes all other type of skeletal mages. Now, they should be getting 2.5% of the damage they do returned. It might not work on the physical damage just because they're not skeletal mages and or they're using necrotic. I don't know. But at the very minimum, those Dark Knights should still have that 2.5% life leech, unless for whatever reason, because the text here says it applies to skeletal mages, and technically skeletal mages are removed from the pool and these are now Death Knights, if for whatever reason that doesn't apply to them. So you'd probably have to go up into this Undead Mortars tree and then Battle Hardened and not convert to the Death Knight. And then I say here that Death Knight melee hits deal additional fire damage plus 16. So this is not based on physical damage. It's just based on any damage. So this should be enhancing the amount of life leech they have. So just really fast, I'll show you what I have here on skeletal summon skeletons. We just dropped 3 points into Unholy Rage for attack speed and move speed. We come down here to Marrow Walker so we can get another skeleton. Then we come down to Necrotic Conviction, which increases their maximum health. I then pop over to Hollow Walkers to give me another +1 to skeletons. And then I do Shambling Steel so that archers are removed from the pool, so that all I'm getting is skeletons. And the reason for that is I want them lumped up on the enemies rather than standing in the back, so that when I'm hitting with Blood Splatter, they're being splattered and empowered and getting that life leech, which, as the video title says, seems to be broken. But that's the reason I have it spec'd this way. And I'll max out Unholy Rage and add some more points as they level. Then with Blood Rip, what I'm doing here is putting 5 into splatter so that I have a 100% chance to splatter every time I use Blood Rage. And I'm trying to get that empowerment. I come down with Crimson Flood so that blood splatters in a larger area. I'm going to max that out, which should be 125%. Then I get Blood Infusion, So anytime I splatter, my minions get blood infusion, which buffs their damage by 30% for 4 seconds. I cannot tell, honestly, if this is working. But that 30% on top of their standard physical damage should increase the life leech. We get 1 into infused frenzy right now to just get that attack speed, and then 3 into hemophagy, so that blood infusion causes minions to leech a portion of physical damage they deal as health. What I can't tell, and this might be where we're tripping up, I'm hoping somebody can figure this out and help me, is that perhaps somewhere their damage is being converted off physical. I don't think so, but this should give us a 15% life leech on physical damage. On top of that, I wanted to synergize transplant. So every time I transplant, my minions deal increased damage for 4 seconds. Right now it's 60% buff, so that's huge. Then I get cast speed, and then over here I get extra blood rip. And this is what's important for my synergy. So every time I transplant, I also do blood rip 3 casts at nearby enemies. So if I transplant here, it only did it once at the beginning and the end. But if there was enemies around me, it would shoot out 3 blood rips and hit 3 enemies, and each one of those blood rips would splatter. So the whole point to that is that I'm transplanting around, it's constantly splatting around my minions, and they're constantly being infused, right? So then I just come up here to bone armor, so I get some more armor when I transplant, and then when I transplant, it costs less health. So that's my synergy. And then off into Skeletal Mage, I already saw that, they have their life leech as well. So I have skeletons, +2 on those. They have increased attack speed. They increased physical damage. 5% health leech just because of marrow tap. They should have another 15% life leech because of hemophagy on blood rip and blood splatter. And on top of that, the skeletal mages have that 2.5. So is it working? That's the big question. And I don't think it is. Watch. So I'll just go ahead and come up here and just let things beat on them. What I want to do is get their health down. And they're doing pretty decent damage, even without being infused. You know, they're doing 80, 100 damage for a low-level character. That's pretty decent. 162, 142. We'll just keep going, let their health get taken down a bit. Just going to ignore loot and everything else. I'm not going to do any transplanting. I'm not going to do any blood rip until they start getting hurt. Because I want to show that they're not leeching. Okay, let's transplant. Got some blood rips out there. They're infused. I can watch their damage and I can see the damage go up, so I know they're empowered. But they're going to get absolutely 0 health. I splat around them and watch. They're not leeching at all. Their health is not going up. They have natural regen, so it's going to go up a tiny bit. But they should be leeching 20% of the damage they're doing. And they're not. Let's try that one more time. We'll just let them get beat up by this big old fat boy. I'm going to transplant. They're now empowered. They're attacking faster. You can see it. And their health is not moving. I let myself die there. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is Minion Life Leech absolutely broken or busted? Because I can't seem to get my skeletons to leech life. So let me know your thoughts. I'm going to put a link in the description below to the build planner so you can see the skills and where I'm at. One other thing I forgot to mention on Minion is I'm at 193% increased phys damage. So I'm stacking all physical damage, trying to synergize that 20% life leech. Just isn't working. So check out the build planner. Let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk to you in the comments below. Peace.